I've scripted and presented talking head videos using word-for-word scripts, teleprompters, bullet points, and just winging it with a topic and no script at all. But for the content on this channel, I want to develop the skills necessary needed to create content anytime, anywhere, with the least amount of friction as possible. So in this video, I'm going to be taking you through my step-by-step process to take a video idea and process it into headings and bullet points so that you can deliver your YouTube script as naturally and conversationally as possible. So let's get started. Step number 1, craft the hook. Ask yourself, what problems or pain points are you solving in this video? Ask yourself who the video is a good fit for and why do they care about watching this video? What's in it for them? You need to be confident in your answers here when you're writing the first 30 to 60 seconds of your script. As another exercise, I like to use the Alex Hormozi's value equation to make sure that the information that I'm putting in my introduction and in fact my entire script actually adds value to the audience. Like, it increases the perceived likelihood that they'll get what they want and it reduces their barriers for doing so. Running your ideas and your content through that sort of filter is a really good practice that I've seen excellent results. The introduction is in fact where I spend 80% of my time scripting. Exception to my rule of headings and bullet points is the introduction. I will often write the introduction out word for word just to reduce as much filler, content, fluff that you can. Step 2 is the intro checklist. Once I have a draft of my introduction, I'll run it through this checklist. Have I delivered upon the expectations of the thumbnail and the title? And set expectations as to what the viewers are going to gain by continuing to watch this video. And don't ask for subscribers, likes, or comments in the introduction. Just start delivering value as quickly as humanly possible. Let's start structuring the body of your script into headings and bullet points. So your headings might be the top 5 lenses for beginners, and you have a heading for each lens. Under each lens, you'll add your bullet points, the pros, the cons, anything specific or unique about that particular item, anything interesting that you've found or experienced with it. And you just really want to build on a high level from there. Once I've got my headings and bullet points, I like to run it through another filter. And I ask, what does the viewer want to learn? Why should they care? And how is it going to improve their life, and what problems are we actually solving here? And look, here's an example of one of the more complex videos that I've done. It was called How to Set Aperture, Shutter Speed, and ISO Quick and Easy. This is obviously the finished script, but here we've got our introduction. And as I said, I ended up building the introduction word for word. And I've highlighted in green the areas where I know I'm going to have B-roll. So when it comes to this unhighlighted section, I know that's when I need to be delivering to the camera. So it's easy, I can just read that line, deliver it to the camera, and keep going. I know I'm gonna have graphics in the next line, and this entire section down here, I know it's gonna be covered with B-roll. So here's chapter 1. What is the exposure triangle? This started with just bullet points. It is the ISO, shutter speed, and aperture, all working together to control light. And as I've built out my headings, I've come back and added little transition statements to get me from the end of that chapter to the start of the next. And here we are, the aperture is the fully adjustable iris inside the lens. Then you're going to the next key point, the f-stop. Reducing the aperture does what? Increasing the aperture does what? Basically what you're trying to do is make each and every sentence count, each and every word count. You're competing for attention. As soon as people feel the value drop, that's when they're gonna stop watching. So you need to be very clear about what point you're trying to get across. And I just find that the bullet points help me do that and give me room to be able to work within some boundaries. Then we've got depth of field, we've got an example of headshots, action shots, which again I've just built out with bullet points and numbers. Then we've got the shutter speed for photography, motion blur, some examples of motion blur, and I know I'm gonna have graphics over these. I've got a graphics section right here. This isn't red, this is all graphics. Our ISO section, 3 bullet points just to describe what it is, what it does, and how to adjust it. And some tips to avoid here. Avoid boosting your ISO above X and Y. And a good tip, so you're just structuring value points throughout each segment of your video. And at the end, again, I like to put myself in the shoes of the viewer and think like, what other questions might they have towards the end of the video? Can I also try and answer any of those now at the end? Or alternatively, make another video about it and lead them to that video at the end. That's what allows you to turn, a bullet point structure into something that you can read and deliver. Read and deliver. It becomes very efficient. And the last part of my script is considering the call to action. What's the next best step that I could ask the viewer to take? watch another video? Do you have templates or digital products that you can refer them to? Could you build a newsletter for free resources or a behind the scenes look? It's worth just putting some time into this. Positioning a call to action that makes sense for the viewer based on the video they've just watched can drive traffic to whatever it is that you're trying to build. With that said, my Content Creator Toolkit is a free newsletter to help you turn the skills of video creation into a business that you can actually make a living from. If you're starting content on the side whilst holding down a 9-to-5, this newsletter is perfect for you. Thanks for watching. I'm Dan from DEvisuals. See you on the next one.